Hello everyone, this is Group 6 and our topic is about controlling software projects. Okay, so we can see that the failures and overruns of software were quite common in the Micro's age. So what is the reason for that? What is the reason for that? It lies in the fact that managers unknowingly lose control long before the development of the final collapse of the project. So here comes the very point, a very important point of the book. The controlling is mostly about management. Well, in the past, about 50% of software projects they ended up with little nothing and could totally fail. What about nowadays? According to a survey conducted by McAfee, 66% of enterprise software projects have cost overruns, and one-third of them go beyond the estimate schedule, and almost 20% of them fall short of promised benefits. Uh, the, the author mentions the terminology user-developed gap, which refers to the deviation of standard of measurement for users and developers. It contains two parts: deviation of communication and lack of communication. So what's the reason for project failure? According to the author's analysis, the reason lies in the inflated and unreasonable expectations. So, what's the meaning of and the essence of to control a software project? As surprising as the answer may be, to control is to reduce the surprises, and it involves two things. Firstly, keep the performance stay at or above some reasonable and accepted standard. Secondly, make sure that the original expectations are not allowed to exceed as possible for a project performing at that standard. Many software project managers miss the only chance to improve estimating skills by learning from the past, measuring the results and comparing back to the estimates. The author gives two corollaries. The extent of control is a function of the precision of the measurement, and anything we do not measure at all is out of control. So, what is the definition of metric function? We can go back, and now we understand that the metric function is a policy of careful management and record keeping during the project. The goal of this book is to help set up a metric function in a specific organization and make it work. As we all know nowadays, the Agile development is widely used. So what is the Agile paradigm? In 2001, the Agile Manifesto publication and the Agile outlines its formation, marking the start of the Agile paradigm. And we can find 12 important principles of Agile paradigm. One of them is to welcome changing requirements, which was very different from ones in the Democracy's work. But they share some same essence and spirit. So we can compare these two. First one, in practice employed, and in agile development, and generally we produce estimation every 2 to 4 weeks, and we estimate iteratively, and the requirements can be cycled at the beginning of each iteration. Well, in the macros work, the next estimate is the last estimate, and this phenomenon is common, mainly due to some managers may stick with the original estimate. The frequent estimations will tend to make the developers more and more skilled at estimating the task, and definitely improve the quality of software estimations. And as for the political factors, the macro points out that some policy lead us to the long-term dilemma and high biases. So, among the principles of agile paradigm, simplicity is essential, and we think this principle is very important because considering if deployed, this principle may cause the reduction of project quality to stay within the cost estimate. From this point of view, being trapped in political factors is a common failing of the site. Then the user-developer communication. Improved user-developer communication may lead to a biased understanding of requirements, which can be very catastrophic to the whole development process. And this fallback is quite common in the modern age. And in the agile development, business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. In the famous extreme programming methodology, customers are recommended to join development team to build close working relationships. We believe that comparably, this will help to prove the estimate success and effectiveness. However, we do have to consider the capability of the customer. Say, if he or she cannot elaborate on the user stories and requirements, the developer may suddenly end up with a cap.
In this chapter, we mainly discussed the dilemma of estimating, which basically the difficulties in the estimating. So first, expectation is as essential as performance. If the expectation is unrealistic, then the projects are doomed to failure. So we need to estimate to control the process of the project. And I mainly illustrate and reorganize the reasons of lack of why engineers lack of estimating experience, because most estimating we thought is not estimating at all. And here's the reason. One is that it is tempting to stick with the original estimate, so people tend to follow the old estimate instead of made an independent new estimate. And the second is it is influenced by sleeps. Like if the original estimate is too significant, it is hard to change it, even though it is difficult to realize. But we stick to it and try to strive on it. And the third reason is that in the company and the engineers, estimators easily be influenced by the supervisors, like many upper managers. Sometimes it is just influenced directly, like negotiate about the time of the process.
Nowadays, people are still confused about what estimation is. In math, estimation means having a raw calculation of value, number, quantity, or extent. In statistics, estimation is a way of calculating some attributes of a population by looking at a sample. And people have not yet decided on which probability assessments methods to use to manage estimation. Of course, there are specific measures that can be used for these concepts as well. However, before judging the usefulness of this approach, we needed to know the source of the component estimates. When the data to be analyzed are significant, it's necessary to judge whether the estimates are feasible. Estimation can also be applied in politicals. However, the policy about estimation should be used to create incentives that leads us to a long-standing dilemma. The best solution is to separate estimation from motivation.
In chapter 3, we will introduce a new approach to control. First, we will separate the estimating group. The estimating group should entirely separated from the rest of the development. First, it is responsible for predictions but not work, because responsible estimates require dispassionate judgment, which should avoid self-interested involved. Second, a sure estimating group cannot feel any pressure. For example, as a manager, you have to take steps to assure that they are free to take no responsibility for the development and no influence from the developers. But still, we have ways to fit estimating group into an organization, like the figure below. We can just entirely separate the estimating group from all projects or place the same position as the manager. Then we will introduce estimating quality factor, which is EQF. The EQF qualifies the quality of forecasts of estimators. And the quality of an estimate is only related to how quickly it converged to the actual result. The sooner changes are made, the better the estimate will be. I will introduce the EQF as the figure below. I take a real example and place it into the figure. The function looks like this, and the quality of the estimate is inversely related to the area lying between the estimate and the actual result. The shadow zone, EQF, is calculated by dividing the shadow area into the area under the actual result. The EQF should begin at which 10% of actual has been expended. The method was widely applicable to every project as long as we know the actual result. And the estimating and the EQF score, when it's higher, the estimate is good. When it is lower, the estimating is bad. In this figure, it's 8.7, which is not bad.
So I'd like to present about what we have done for the chapter 3 after we got the feedback. So basically, you can see still there are 6 approaches for this chapter, and as what we have been advised, we think we should put more energy and time on the EQF, which means estimating quality factor. And we think this plays an important role for the estimating work and project management. So this basically illustrates and shows there is a difference between the reality and what you predict for the project. So this is meaningful and educational for the project, as the chapter 3 illustrates. After that, we found that we learned deeper into the chapter 3, and we found that this 6 advice is actually connected to each other, and we are trying to find the connections between these advices. So we found that these are actually in a chronological way, and they are more logical to each other. So firstly, we need to set up the estimating team, and after that we give them their working goals, and we should let the estimators be specialized, and we make them responsible for the work and also measurement. And so in the work for the second phase, we think we make a deeper understanding for chapter 3 and make all the parts connected to each other. So that's all what I need to present about this.